Hi, this is Kimball Bullington. I want to talk to you about preparing an entry-level resume. So let's get started. The process that we're going to use, or that I'm recommending, is probably significantly different from any process you've seen before for starting a resume, because we're not going to start with you. We're going to start with the job. And start with the job and finding the job. I'm going to recommend Indeed.com. Analyze it. Then analyze yourself. This is usually where we start with the resume. Identify strengths and weaknesses, create the draft, then review and revise. So I use Indeed.com because it's just so easy to use and it seems to come up with good results. So up here in the what, you just type in the name of a job. So for instance, I've typed in supply chain analyst. If you don't really know exactly the title, you can just type in what you do know: supply chain or inventory or purchasing, and then to the right of that, the where search button there is I put Nashville, and it came up with some sources. They'll give you a list if you scroll down. You can use the Supply Chain Management Student Organization. You can use friends and neighbors. There's any number of different ways that you can find the job. Once you've found the job, you want to look at that job description. I like to just print them out and then highlight them and circle. I try to look for, I use sticky notes a lot. And so I'll start copying down words that I see that seem to be repeated or seem to be particularly necessary or useful. You can also do that in Word in an outline form if you want to. And you can even start thinking about the interview and what questions they might have, what concerns, what kind of proof of skills. So for instance, they want excellent Excel skills. What can I say about my use of Excel that would convince them of where I truly am skill-wise? Here's just an example of a job description that I made copies of, and then I started highlighting. So after you've selected a job and found a job description that's representative, then or that's specific to the organization you're targeting, then you analyze yourself. And you do this in the context of the job posting. So what is my experience thinking of it in the language of the job posting? What are my skills in the language of the job posting? What is my education, and so on. And you analyze these. Use sticky notes or word outline. Look for themes. You look for themes as you're going through the job description. Now you look for themes as you're going through your own experience in education. How does this tell a story rather than just give a laundry list of experiences? Then you identify strengths and weaknesses. Again, you're doing this in the context of the job. It's you and the job. What do you and your target job or target company value the most? And what you're really looking for are the overlaps. What are your values? What are the target values? And where do you overlap? And that's really where you want to emphasize in your resume if you can. What are the themes? What differentiates you or me from all the other 100 or however many applicants there will be for this job? What sets me apart? A lot of, for instance, subjective statements in resumes sound exactly the same. You're not differentiating yourself. You would be better off without it. So focus on what differentiates you. Weaknesses, I'm not necessarily going to put weaknesses in the resume, but I want to identify what they are and what can you do about them. So sometimes you may even have time to put some improvement actions in place in time to use in your resume for the job. Then comes a draft. And a draft implies that you're not going to hand in the first try. I have 3 examples here. I have this one crossed out. Why is that? It's a nice, attractive looking resume. Well, it has it goes from 2 columns to 3 columns to 2 columns. It uses teal and black and teal. What is the meaning of the black versus the teal? Or is there any reason for it? Is that just style? Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't make it confusing. Don't make your don't try to get cute. Give in a entry level resume. Make it simple. Keep it simple. Keep it short and simple. The KISS method. And here are 2 examples where you have name and contacts up at the top. Both of these have an objective statement. I question that unless your objective statement really says something about you and says something attractive. I had a job applicant one time tell me, I'm just trying to learn manufacturing from the ground up. Well, to a manufacturing person, that warmed my heart and actually set her apart from the other candidates that I had. This has experience in education. This example has education and experience. You want to emphasize the one that you're the strongest in. And if you have experience, that's what industry will be most interested in, the experience. Most of the people that they're hiring have the degree because the degree is required. So, if everybody's got a bachelor's degree, it doesn't set you apart, does it? So anyway, you have some different options. In review, pay attention to emphasis. The most important issues should be first. Ideally, you would have experience first and then education. But if you don't have any or very little experience, then you may want to flip that. You want to do reverse chronological order. So rather than just going as time flows from oldest to youngest, from old dates to new dates, you want to do the opposite. You want to have the most recent experiences first, the most recent education first. And because of that, you really don't want to be emphasizing what happened in high school. It's rare that you would want to put high school education there at all. It's rare that you want to put a long list of activities in high school. I know you may be proud of them, but you were convinced that that's what you needed to do to get into college. It's not what you need for a job. And besides, it may send the wrong message. So if I have this huge list of activities in high school and nothing, basically, in college, what does that tell them? So recently you haven't been very active at all. You could fix that. You could get active in college, but have your most important times, your most important experiences first. Make sure your contact information is clear. Make sure that your grammar is in shape. I suggest that you read aloud your resume once you get through. If you read silently, your brain will fill in gaps. I mean, when you wrote it, you had a certain idea. If you read silently, you'll fill in that idea. But if you say it aloud, if you read it aloud, all of a sudden you may hear the gaps that you have in your writing. If at all possible, get someone else to edit it as well. Check spelling. Grammar and spelling errors just cry out unprofessional. And so that's not the way you want to look. Balance and appearance. You want to look back at it. If you have, 4 inches in experience and 2 inches in education, then by all means, the experience should be on top. And if you're not balanced the way you want to be, let's say, for instance, you do have a good bit of experience, but your education still unbalances it, go back and look and see how you could balance that. I want the longer items first because I'm saying with my length they're more important. If you really don't believe they belong first, then edit them where they're not longer anymore. So a balance and appearance sends its own message. And then, does this sound like the posting? I mean, if you've really done this, like I asked you to do this, then you started with the job. And it should sound like the job. If you just sort of went through the motions and in the end just wrote down all about you without any consideration of job, then you're not sending the best message. And then revise. And this is a loop with review. So you reviewed, then you revise, and then you go back and you review what you revised. And you may do this several times because you may catch. Every time you make corrections, every time you add new content, there's a chance for more errors, so you should review again. Get another set of eyes and keep comparing with the job posting. So finally, the assignment, the resume should be 1 column, 1 page. KISS. Keep it short and simple. Activities generally should be reverse chronological order. The only instance where that would not be the case is if you have some particular activities that are just especially relevant to the job posting, and maybe they didn't happen last. Well, then just pull them up there, and you don't even, maybe you won't even take the dates off, and just have the actions or activities. Submit 2 files. One of them should be the resume plus a copy of your job posting. The name should be your last name resume.docx. It should be a Word file. It should not be zipped. It's not a PDF. It's not pages. It's a Word file. And then a resume release form, and that's a Word file as well. And finally, submit that to the Dropbox, and you're done. Good luck. Again, this is not the way most people write resumes, and I just want to challenge you again. My thinking is go from the specific to the general. A lot of people want to write a very general resume that'll catch everything, and then maybe edit a little bit to make it specific. I would rather go from a very specific one and edit it to make it apply to another specific idea. If you approach writing a resume with no idea of the job, or at least no specific ideas, you'll write a fuzzy resume. This way you can write a crisp and tight resume that is absolutely targeted toward a job. Edit it for the next job, but and do the same process. Go back to their job posting. Make sure you've changed the language to fit them. Good luck.